Okay, so where did we lose Miss? There she is. Okay, so you're going to apply for diversion, is that right?
Yes, ma'am. I decided last minute because I just don't have the funds to make it up to Kansas to try to fight the case or anything. So I'm just gonna do the diversion and pay the costs.
Okay, now, where are you? You said make it up to Kansas. Where are you?
I live in Houston, Texas. Actually, a little bit further from that, I live in Clute, which is right by Freeport.
Okay, Miss Hinkle or Gonzalez, I told you on January or September 7th to go out and sign your picture and prints and the OR bond. Did you go do that?
No, ma'am, I was not able to bring it to make it to Butler County.
All right, so you're in violation of a court order.
Yes, ma'am. I do want to do the right thing. I just don't know how I'm supposed to do that if I can't.
Well,
get there.
I offer diversion, I'm sorry, I offer Zoom, but I don't have to. I could make you appear in court in person. And if I can't trust you to do what you're told to do on one thing, I have a hard time trusting you on anything. I don't know why anyone in Butler County should work with you if you can't work with us.
I did speak to the officer down below you. I'm not sure what his little the conference as Sallyport 2. I spoke to him on September 2nd and he gave me until that Friday of close of business. And I told him I will do my best to make it up there by Friday close of business, but I live 12, 13 hours away. My vehicle, it does not have good tags anymore. I have been paying my insurance to keep it up to date to show that I'm still trying to do the right thing, but that was just $500 out of pocket, and I can't come up with another $500 to get my tags right now, plus the $500 I need for all of my court fees through diversion. I'm a single mom, recently divorced. My insurance was out of date because he was supposed to pay for it and didn't. I'm just trying to do the right thing.
Okay,
Up there.
here's the deal. You have a warrant out for your arrest for not coming in when you were supposed to. You
Yes,
need,
I'm aware.
oh, you are aware.
I had an officer down here tell me when I was signing my lease 2 weeks ago.
And he didn't take you into custody?
I told him I had court right on the 2nd and I was trying to get it right. They checked my insurance and they saw that I was trying to do the right thing. They said, hey, but I wasn't driving or anything.
What jurisdiction is that doesn't honor warrants?
I'm not too sure. It's not, I don't know if it's not that they were trying to honor it, but again,
What jurisdiction was that didn't,
I live in Brazoria County, if that helps.
All right, well, you go down there and you turn yourself in on that warrant and you make your $1,000 OR bond, or I'm going to make it a cash or surety bond and not let you out on an OR bond.
I'm gonna need you to explain what that means.
That means you're gonna go turn yourself in to the sheriff, or I will make arrangements to pick you up, and I'm not gonna give you a lot of considerations. That means you go down to your local police or sheriff's office and say, I need to turn myself in on a Kansas warrant. They will take your picture and prints, and you will sign an OR bond.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to be rude, but I asked if this option was available to me last time.
It wasn't. Last time you didn't have a warrant, this time you do.
And now I'm having to go.
Yeah, because you didn't do what you were told to do.
Because I'm broke and I couldn't make it to court because I couldn't make it to get my prints done. But now I can get my prints done here. I'm sorry, I'm being emotional. Now I have to get arrested and put stuff on my record because I already asked. I'm sorry.
No, you have to get stuff
Moment, please.
You have to get stuff put on your record.
Okay.
You have to get stuff put on your record because you came to Kansas driving a motor vehicle without liability insurance. That's a Class B misdemeanor. And it's been a long-standing law in Kansas that all A and B misdemeanors have to get their picture and prints taken at the jail. And you didn't go out and do that voluntarily, so now you have to go in and do it. This is one more chance to do it, or I'm going to raise the bond. This time you don't have to put money up for your bond. But if you don't go do it again, this time voluntarily, I'm going to raise your bond so that you're not going to get out so easily.
So I'm trying not to get out of pocket, and I'm going to do everything that you're saying. But I guess where we are not seeing eye to eye is on September. I said, I cannot make it to Kansas, but I will do what you say. I would like to get my prints done. Can I do it here? And you told me no. You told
Because
me no, I had to get up there. And I tried to do all the necessary things. Now you are telling me you did not want to do that voluntary. That is false.
I'm telling you now,
I did want to do it voluntary. I just did not have the means to make it up there. So now I am getting crucified, and I'm still doing exactly what I offered to do the first time. That's crazy. But now I have to go turn myself in.
I would hardly compare this to crucifixion, ma'am.
Oh my goodness.
Do you want to look up the definition of crucifixion?
You are ridiculous. I'm going to do what you say either way.
All right.
You are so unfair is what I'm getting at.
You're calling the court unfair.
Yes.
And ridiculous.
Yes. Does that put me in contempt?
It does.
I tried to do this the right way months ago, and I am continuing to do it the right way. And I am. Oh, wow. Yep.
You are in contempt of court. You must appear in person at the next court hearing. You cannot appear by Zoom anymore at this court hearing. You must come to the court at El Dorado, Kansas, in person. The bond will be $1,000 cash, because I do not trust you to turn yourself in after you've made these comments to the court.
That's fine.
Your bond is set at $1,000 cash or professional surety required. Your contempt is will be set at $200 for direct contempt of court. That's to be paid at your next court date.
Just tack it all on. I mean, I'm broken.
I'm not even going to give you a new court date. I'm just going to leave your warrant issued. You're in contempt of court. Mr. Davini, anything you want to say on this?
Well, Your Honor, she did apply for diversion. If the diversion agreement, if we can get that processed and handle that as far as the charges or how things go on the criminal charges that we have filed, that should be actually resolved by diversion. So the only outstanding issue at this point, Your Honor, would be one of with regard to responsibilities that she might have pursuant to the contempt finding that you've issued. So I can only speak to the diversion, but she did apply yesterday. She is presumptively diversion eligible.
So you would grant her diversion even with an outstanding warrant, is that correct?
Well, she does appear, I mean, she does appear here today, and I think that had the direction gone a little bit differently, normally that would be waived because she's present here today. My concern, Your Honor, is one of extradition on a warrant, and which is a very costly effect.
What would it cost your office or what would it cost the sheriff's office to drive down and pick her up? What is so costly about that?
Judge, I'm sorry, that's a little tricky for me to calculate, but I'm gonna let's approximate by the time you have labor, gas, fuel, et cetera, $700-800.
Okay. So let me see if I understand this right. She's got an active warrant. She is committed contempt, calling the court names, showing a total disrespect for the judicial process. And she can, and the county attorney will allow her to circumvent all of the court orders by granting a diversion. Does the county attorney think that that would
Yeah.
do away with the warrant if she does that?
Not necessarily, because the warrant could be issued as an extension of the contempt finding, Your Honor. And I certainly, just so we're clear, I'm not trying to disrespect the court either with regard to this or circumvent or any of these issues. I'm presumptively looking at just the charges, the criminal charges, and how I would proceed procedurally through the matter. And regardless of a defendant's contempt status, at least I have no policy, I guess. There's nothing hard coded in the policy that we have in our office or most offices with regard to contempt citations and how that affects diversion eligibility. Because, and I'll say that because she had already applied for the diversion prior to today's court date. She did appear here today. And again, I'm not trying to subvert the court's orders. This is complicated, and I've not really come across this particular level of algebra, I suppose, as we're trying to calculate this out.
So if she violates the court's orders to go out and get her picture and prints taken, and she violates the law that says all of A and B misdemeanors have to be processed,
that would be a violation of diversion at that point.
well, she's already violated the court's orders. She's already violated the laws of Kansas. It says all A and B misdemeanors have to get their prints taken. And if you give her diversion, then she can, what, avoid the law that says she has to get her picture and prints taken?
Nope, that would still be a condition of diversion. And normally we'd have that as a condition, a condition precedent to the signing of the final agreement. That is to say that the agreement wouldn't be finalized unless and until the prints get taken care of.
And as a condition of the probation, you could make her appear, or the diversion, you could make her appear in person to sign the contract and to get her picture and prints taken. But is that something that you're inclined to do?
Well, again, I think she has the ability to go to her local jurisdiction at this point with the warrant, actually. And despite the distaste that the defendants has stated here today with regard to doing that, that actually that allows her to comply with the requirements of being processed. The amount of the bond, like I said, that's up to you, the court, certainly. But if she's booked and processed, then she's completed the diversion application, then that would still allow her to remain, I mean, that's compliant with the diversion precursor.
Well, it's cases like this that may cause us to have to quit doing Zoom hearings because defendants won't, if you don't have them right in front of you, they kind of can say, ha ha, I don't have to do what you say. And if the prosecutor's not going to go get them.
For the record, I had no issue doing what the court said. My concern was, why was I not allowed to do it back in September? Why did it have to escalate to you saying I did not want to voluntarily do it? And why am I having to turn myself in now when I could have just done this all in September? That's why I had a distaste.
So, Ms. Gonzalez, what are you suggesting I do with you?
I guess you can do as you see fit, Judge. I just want to do the right thing. I would like to be able to get my license back. I'd like to be able to drive my car. I'd like to be able to get my tags.
If you're wanting to do the right thing, why do you sit there and call names to the court?
I said the situation was ridiculous because, again,
He said I was ridiculous.
okay, well, that's fine too. I guess we could go back and listen to the record. It's not that big of a deal. But again, my distaste was with the fact that I feel like it could have all been, it all could have been solved in September when I said, hey, is there any way at all that I can come to the Brazoria County Court District and get my prints done here? And you said, no, unfortunately not. And I told
No,
then
unfortunately,
I could not.
no, unfortunately not, because you did not have a warrant.
Right. And now and so I'm wondering why it even had to escalate to the point of me getting a warrant and having to turn myself in if I'm still getting that option to go to Brazoria County now. It wasn't that I did not want to voluntarily go. I have no means. That's the whole point of me doing the diversion. I have no means.
I have tried to work with you.
We have only spoke once. I called Miss Cool 2 times. She advised me to wait and see if I could get a lawyer, and then she advised me to do the diversion program. So I don't have the money, but I can do the diversion program little by little. I can't go to Kansas, but I can stay here and do everything that you'd like me to do through this way. If you issue a warrant out for my arrest, the only way that you will get me is by sending a team to come and get me, which is all right. I will serve my time.
I offered you an OR bond.
Which I said in the beginning, I don't mind going to Brazoria County. My myth was, why couldn't I do it in the beginning?
All right, you have a warrant out for your arrest. You need to turn yourself in on it. If the county attorney refuses to honor extradition, we will deal with that at the time. If the local sheriff and the county attorney refuse to extradite, we will deal with that at the time. Bond is set, $1,000 cash or professional surety. The defendant is found in contempt of court and assessed a fine of $200 to be paid within 30 days to the clerk of the district court. I have contemplated making you serve jail time on that contempt, but I'm not going to order that at this time. You need to learn to be respectful to the court, not to call the court names or tell the court that their orders are ridiculous or whatever those terms were that you used. This did not have to get to this. You are correct. I'm going to recall this case. No, I'm going to leave it until you deal with your arrest. Court's in recess on this case at this time.
So do I go to what's now?
I've already answered that. Okay. I think that covers the docket. Are there some others that failed to appear, ladies?
Yes, there is. I still show 8 more, Your Honor.
All right, why don't you just start calling those and we'll go from there.